Welcome back into In-Game Live Game Day here on SportsGrid. Brady, Kannon, and Cam Stewart with you. And on the weekends, we've been going through and previewing every NFL team prior to the season kicking off on September 4th when the Chiefs take on the Chargers. We are over into the NFC now, and we kicked off the NFC East last night with a preview of the Washington Commanders. Now we want to dive into those Dallas Cowboys, and Clarence Hill joins us. He is with the All City Network, a Dallas Cowboys reporter for DLLS Sports in Dallas, Texas. Clarence, thank you so much for joining the program here. And I tell you, this has got to be a pretty fun job covering the Dallas Cowboys. Never a dull moment in Big D with that owner of yours, yes, Jerry Jones. And boy, more controversy this year with Micah Parsons. You got a new coach in Brian Schottenheimer. I tell you what, the more things change, the more they stay the same. There's really not a lot of turnover on this roster. I know we've got a new head coach and a new, coordinators and all that type of thing, but a lot of the players remain the same on this roster. What is the feeling in camp, and what are your initial impressions out of the Dallas Cowboys?
I want to push back on one thing. Fun is a relative term. Fun from the outside, yes.
Yes.
It's not your job every day to chronicle the goings on, the drama. That's not always fun. But yes, it keeps us interested. Busy. It keeps us talking about something. That's two different conversations. Yes, they are. They generate engagement. So that's what they do. It's not always fun because it's, if you're a reporter, because they don't always like seeing you coming. It's like, here you go again, and stuff like that. But camp is camp. They've been coming out here to California, Oxnard, running away from the temperatures of Texas to the cool weathers of Oxnard, California, to get prepared. You have a new coach, and Brian Schottenheimer is trying to, I guess, instill a different energy in the organization. But this is the Cowboys. They haven't won, they haven't been to the Super Bowl since 1995, haven't been to the NFC Championship game since the end of the 1995 season. It doesn't matter. What are you going to do in the playoffs? Are you going to break this drought? A team that has rich tradition, 5 titles, 3 in the 90s. We got generations of fans like my kids and people who were born after 1995 who've never seen the Cowboys be winners.
I got to ask you there, Clarence, looking at camp, every team has kind of a surprise team guy. I'm a Seahawk fan, and I'm looking at the receiver Horton from Colorado State, who's an absolute stud but got hurt. Could have been a top 40 pick. He slips. What do you think on the offensive side? What players are going to impress you that people maybe don't know about, and one on the defensive side? Because every team has a couple gems in camp that could stay with the team and maybe do some damage.
Well, that's the problem with the Cowboys because it's a top-heavy team. They pay so much money. The depth is bad. If you watched them against the Rams last night, the depth is not good. And I think that number one, the guy that everybody's looking for, he may not be, I guess, unsung hero, but I think Pickens coming to Dallas from Pittsburgh is Pickens, it's a perfect fit. He and CeeDee Lamb and this offense, Dak and CeeDee Lamb are going to cook. Number one, they're going to cook on offense, and they're really excited about Pickens and what he can bring to this offense. Defensively, their second-round pick, Ezraku, out of Boston College. When they get Micah in there, they should have a pretty good pass rush for sure.
Clarence, what about the running back room? You've got 2 out of the 3 guys that are already a little bit banged up. Javonte Williams, they bring him in from Denver. He's the only guy that's currently healthy right now. They draft Jadon Blue out of Texas. He's got a problem with his heel. Miles Sanders nursing an injury. Are these guys going to be ready for week 1? Or are you confident about this unit going into the season?
I just want to let the record show that I told them, I said, I've been standing on the table, that should have gave Derrick Henry a call last year when they signed Zeke. And Derrick Henry lives in Dallas, even though he's played in Tennessee. He lives in Dallas. He wanted to play for the Cowboys. He wanted the Cowboys to give him a call. His girlfriend, fiance, wife is from Dallas. They never gave Derrick Henry a call, and they're still struggling at running back. Javonte Williams most likely will be the starter. But this is not a special core of running backs. Like you're looking at Javonte Williams, Jadon Blue will probably be a change of pace guy. But outside of that, this is, a pedestrian group of running backs.
All right, he is Clarence Hill. You can find him with the All City Network in Dallas, DLLS Sports, breaking down the Dallas Cowboys, who are projected to finish third in this division. The New York Giants bring up the rear as the big underdog. We will cover them later on in the program as well. The Philadelphia Eagles, the favorite there in the division. The second choice, the Washington Commanders. Dallas, better than 5-1 dogs to win the NFC East. Their win total is 7.5 games. We'll get Clarence thoughts on that on the other side when we come back on In-Game Live Game Day. Welcome back into In-Game Live Game Day here on SportsGrid. Brady Kannon and Cam Stewart, and we've got Clarence Hill with us as we continue to break down the Dallas Cowboys for the 2025 NFL season. You can find him with the All City Network in Dallas, DLLS Sports. And Clarence, they only won 7 games in 2024, but a lot of things actually kind of went their way. They were positive in field goal games. They were 2-1. They were 5-5, 500 in one-score games. They were plus 14 in sack margin. You talked about that pass rush. We know about Micah Parsons. You know, they did a lot of things pretty well. Their win total in 2025 is 7.5. Does that feel low to you? Does it feel attainable? Where do you kind of fall as far as, the Vegas guys telling you that the Dallas Cowboys are going to win 7.5 games?
You know, and I've been telling people to hammer that. I think it should be more than 7.5, but I was looking at it. The win total by most Vegas odds is 7.5. But if you go game by game, they're only favored to win 6 games. When you go to Vegas and look at their odds, in game by game, they're only favored to win 6 games, which to me, they have a tough schedule. Certainly have a tough mid part of the schedule, but you got I think Kansas City and Detroit and Philly and the Vikings all right there together. So they need to get off to a good start. When Dak has been healthy, when Dak has played a full complement of games, they have been a contender. They've won no less than 9 games. And they, pretty much made the playoffs. And if Dak is healthy, I think they kill the 7.5. But again, there's still concerns on this team, especially on this defense, without Micah Parsons. They're not a good team without Micah Parsons. Their defense, you look at the numbers, you guys get into the numbers, but look at this defense without Parsons. They need to get him signed. They need to get him camped because they cannot get off to a slow start. They have a hell of a schedule in the middle in November and December. They need to get off to a good start, and they need Micah Parsons on the field to do that.
You're right, Clarence, and they open up against the Eagles, too. That's like, bam, like right out of the gate, you're playing the Super Bowl champs who annihilated the Kansas City Chiefs. Tell me, Clarence, the strength of the team used to be the offensive line. We know the Dallas Cowboys, every single one of those guys, they're killers. And Dak Prescott, if you give him time, let's remember, too, at Mississippi State, this guy shreds people. You give Dak time, he can beat you down. But how is that offensive line right now? I know they've had injuries, couple guys long in the tooth, older guys, but do you think they can hold up? Because if they do, I'm with you. I'm definitely on the Dallas over this year for wins.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest questions, one of the areas that they tried to address in the offseason. When the Cowboys were great, they had like 3 or 4 top offensive linemen. I'm talking about some of the tops in the league. When you look at Zach Martin and Tyron Smith and those guys and Travis Frederick, I mean, they had 3 or 4 Pro Bowlers. And for even going back to the 90s, those Super Bowl teams were built by the Great Wall of Dallas, the offensive line. And right now, they only have one special player up front, that's Tyler Smith. He has a chance to be a generational type player. He's a Pro Bowl, all-pro guy. He's at left guard. Everybody else, a young question mark. Certainly they spent a first-round pick on Tyler Booker out of Alabama, and they really like him. He's going to replace Zach Martin. But everywhere else, they like Cooper Beebe at center, but everybody else is guys who need to prove some of their question mark. And so, their left tackle, Tyler Guyton out of Oklahoma, first-round pick out of Oklahoma last year. He had a horrible rookie season. This was a big year, big training camp for him. He early in camp, he suffers an injury. Now he's out 4 weeks. He might not even be there for the season opener. And they're going with a 7th-round pick, Nate Thomas, out of the University of Louisiana, as their left tackle right now. Dak Prescott protecting Dak Prescott's blind side. So, the offensive line is huge. But the strength of this team is Dak and those receivers. If Dak gets some time, and I think that they will be able to make some plays with CD and George Pickens, hopefully that will open up the run game because people cannot double Dak. I mean, they can't double CD and George Pickens.
Clarence, you mentioned Micah Parsons, and of course, that's maybe the biggest story in Dallas right now, and his unhappiness there and the little battle he's got going with the owner. In your heart of hearts, do you feel that they're going to find a way to get this done, or are you worried about this guy suiting up for the Cowboys in this season?
They always get it done. They always last minute. They always get it done. Never not sign the player they wanted to keep, whether it's Dak, whether it's CD. Held out the first two games. They always get it done. They sign the players they want, and certainly I think they're gonna get it done. My question, my issue is, you wait till the last minute to get it done. You wait till he's missed all the training, all the preseason. You're asking for him to have a soft tissue injury early in the season and set yourselves back. You need Micah full go against the Eagles. You need your everybody ready to go. The problem is they always get it done, which is why Jerry's really not worried about it, because they always sign their guys. But is this the right way, the right environment to prepare your team for the season? You got a new coach. You got some questions. You want everybody hitting on all cylinders, and this is not how you prepare a team.
Clarence, I got to ask you, too. I know Brady mentioned it earlier about the running back situation, but I really like the draft pick of Blue. I think he was absolutely fantastic with the Texas Longhorns. He's an absolute stud, maybe hurt now, but from a fantasy/production, from that angle, do you think he'll be the clear #1 bell cow on this team, or do you think it's going to be a running back by committee? Do you think Blue can take this thing over when healthy early, and do you think he can be explosive like he was with the Longhorns?
No, I think he's going to be explosive again. He's more of a change of pace guy. I would compare him to Tony Pollard early in his career. Javonte Williams most likely will be the starter. They want to, hopefully they'll get Miles Sanders back, but Blue will be a guy to use on third down. He has 4.3 speed. They want to get the ball to him out of the backfield. They will do some things. He's going to be explosive. He's going to get a chance to make some plays, but he wasn't a bell cow in college. He's never been a bell cow going back to high school. So I can't see them making him a bell cow type back. He's more of a change of pace back. Certainly they want to get him the ball. He's explosive. But Javonte Williams, maybe Miles Sanders, they're going to have a group of backs get the ball, but they want to get the ball in Blue's hands for sure.
Clarence, obviously the coaching staff here has had some success in the past. Brian Schottenheimer comes from a legendary coaching family. Matt Eberflus had some success running the defense for the Indianapolis Colts, not as much for the Chicago Bears. But what are your expectations for this new tandem in Dallas here, Schottenheimer and Eberflus running the defense?
Man, they're great guys, and I like Shotty. I remember covering Shotty in high school when he was in Kansas City. When he was up there with Marty, and my first job out of college was in Kansas City. The Kansas City started covering high schools. He won a state championship. Great guys. He's trying to do the right thing. Certainly, he's a lifer. He's been around this game. But tell me, do you think they win the coaching box? Do you think? And I like Eberflus, a good coach, but no one's confusing him with Dan Quinn, right? And no one's confusing him with Vic Fangio. Solid coaches, but I don't think that they, are head and heels. Their coaching acumen is going to put the Cowboys over the top.
I agree,
Cam, you got anything else? Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, could anybody dethrone Philadelphia, Clarence, or is it going to be a cakewalk for the Eagles?
Well, that's just it. Let me finish this. I know we're at a break.
Yeah.
No one has repeated in the NFC East since 2004.
Bingo.
Okay, the Eagles have been to the Super Bowl before, have brought everybody back, and the Cowboys won the next year. The Cowboys have won titles, won division titles. The Eagles are Washington won the next year. No one's defended, so something always happens. So yes, on paper, the Eagles should be head and shoulders. They should win it again, but that has not happened since 2004 for whatever reason. When the Cowboys were dominant, I remember one year they went undefeated in the East. One year, the next year, the Eagles won it. They didn't win it the next year. So, and they brought everybody back. So it's football. That's why you play the game. But yes, on paper, the Eagles should win. But no one in the NFC East, even when the Eagles have gone to the Super Bowl and won the Super Bowl, did they repeat.
Yeah, no, I hear you. We've only got about 20 seconds left, Clarence. If you're going to bet on who's going to win the division, who's it going to be?
Well, bet on the Eagles. But that's why Vegas always wins, right? But we're gonna
exactly.
But we already know it hasn't happened since 2004.
He's Clarence Hill of the All City Network in Dallas, Texas. Thank you so much, my man. We'll be back with more in just a moment right here on The Grid.